Hello creatives and welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how to put together a vintage Halloween non-traditional wreath that would look great on your home. So for those of you that are into the whole spooky scary thing, this one's probably going to be something that you're going to love. So let me take care of the housekeeping first. So if you want to save this tutorial where it's easy for you to find, just click the share button below. That will share this tutorial to your Facebook page where it's so much easier to find it when you're ready to put together your own design. And I think you're going to like the color palette for this one. Also, if you're new here, I'd love to welcome you. So let me know where you're joining me from. So sometimes people on YouTube get a little confused that they think that this is a YouTube live. This is actually a Facebook live. So it is a replay of an earlier Facebook live today. But if you want to participate in that Facebook live, YouTubers, go on over to my Facebook page, Cats Creations Wreaths. And every Tuesday at 4 Pacific and every Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific, you can join me live and ask me all kinds of questions. So the next question I generally am asked is, how do I get notifications when you go live? I don't have things like the iNotify feature and stuff like that. Mine is the simple cut and dry method, which is just make sure you're liking the page, make sure you're following the page. And the follow button is hidden. Did you know that? Yes, on Facebook, it is hidden. So if you go down to where you do see the like button, right next to that, 3 little dots, if you open that up, a little menu will pop up. You can click the follow button. That way you're both liking and following the page. And as long as you happen to be on your device of choice, you should be notified when I go live. YouTubers, when can you be notified when I drop new videos? Super simple. Click the subscription bell in the upper right hand corner. And whenever I drop a new video, which will be later today, you'll be notified as well. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Let me go ahead and get my Facebook page open. I was battling deer for a little while. So our deer were fighting. We have one that is very territorial. Those are the jays. Let me go ahead and get my comments. Here we go. Hi, Teresa. Welcome. And let me go ahead and put this in for you guys so you have the information at hand. So catscreationsandmore.com, a website for those of you that need to know what that is. There we go. I think we got it. So weird how sometimes it'll do all caps and sometimes it won't. Okay. Comment is pinned. I'm going to go ahead and pivot you down so we can go ahead and get started. Hang tight with me one second. I want to make sure you can see things that are going to be relevant to you. Hi, Carol. Welcome. So we're doing 14-inch Dollar Tree wreath frame. Obviously, you can tell by the pipe cleaners what color palette we're doing. Hi, Cheryl. Welcome from Canada. We are doing a beige and black color palette. So 14-inch Dollar Tree wreath frame is where we're going to start first of all. I've done the first 5 sections for you. We're going to finish this one up so we're ready to go. The easiest way to explain it is every single section is divided by a weld. Hi, Joanne. Welcome. We're going to take one pipe cleaner, kind of center that in the middle of that section. We're going to wire together the 2 innermost rings. So we have that one. And then I'm going to do the same on the outside 2. Only this time I'm going to use this one and my weld to kind of find a midway point between those. Making sure my pipe cleaners are even so I can have the most out of them as possible. And I always get asked, how tight are you tightening these on? Just finger tight. You know, I'm not wrenching them on there. But this will give you 6 to the inside, 12 to the outside, grand total of 18. Okay, so here is the sign that we're going to be using. So I actually purchased this 4 years ago. So I thought I had the Crow one. It turns out that I actually have the Witch's Brew Elixir. I have done the crow one before, but this is the one we're going to be using. It's the last one I have left. I actually picked this up at a, what do you call it, like a thrift store, a Goodwill thrift store. And so this is going to be the design inspiration. So I like it because it's very vintagey. It's got some, you know, words printed on the back, which are a little hard to see. I think even that makes it difficult to see, but there is a lot of font and words going back and forth. So this is what is going to be our theme. And the mesh that we're using is this black and tan plaid jute mesh. Now this is from Hobby Lobby, so easy for most of us to find. We are actually going to be doing cruffles. So all of my mesh is cut to 25-inch pieces. And this is how we're going to do the cruffle method. So we're going to go with the curl of our mesh, and we're going to curl, so starting about an inch. You're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then chip clip it, because you need to prevent it from rolling any further. And then we're going to do the same on the other side. 1 inch over, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then from here, we're just going to gather it and bring the other curl towards us. Remove our chip clip. We're putting it curl side up, which means the way that we're rolling it is the way it's going in. These are going to get laid right inside here. And you don't have to be super detailed on, like, you know, do my curls look the same? Are they nice and neat? They don't need to be. There are some people who just kind of gently roll the ends under. Like I've seen it done like this, where people are taking and rolling, and then they'll scrunch. Whatever works for you. I want my curls a little bit tighter, so I am going to make sure that they stay a little tighter. So there's my 5, my chip clip, another 5 on this side, and then I'm going to pull. So I'm basically folding it about the same width as each one of those little checked boxes are. And generally the cruffle method is not my favorite because it has a tendency of, as you're doing this, you're going to get gaps in between them. Don't let that bother you for right now. We're going to go ahead and filter that, and as we push them all together, we'll eventually eliminate the majority of that space. So we're going to go ahead and do these really quickly. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, chip clip, back to the other side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then pull that towards you until you've got both sides. Pick that up. I'm going to lay this one right in. This is going on the left, and I just am taking the next pipe cleaner position as I'm laying my mesh in. Still the same. The ones that I'm laying in the center will obviously face the center. And then what you can start to do as you push them in is you can kind of, you know, open these up so that they offer a little bit more coverage. Like right now, I pretty much have filled in the gap between these two. Like we can pull those out a little bit so that you have more coverage in your sections. Let's see. Why is my thing just being weird? My comment things are just being bizarre. Hi, Mary Carol from Oklahoma. Welcome. How many of you have done the cruffle method before? Like I said, for me, I would have probably, I think, preferred to do this ruffle, but we'll see. how the method turns out. I love this mesh. It is one of my favorite types of mesh. And the fact that you can get it at Hobby Lobby, and it's going to be in their regular section, not their seasonal. So you can get this year round. They have it in blue, and it's like a navy blue. And I'm doing the same thing because this is our coverage, right, between the two. They also have it in a moss green and tan. So those are nice to have throughout the year for something a little bit different. So I saw, Mary Carol, you have done the ruffle method, or cruffle, sorry, cruffle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, pull, 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 pull. And I'm trying to keep them so that they're the same. Ruffles, they like to stay up. And again, if you want to lift and fill, I'm going to push those up. I haven't decided what I'm doing just yet, so I want to leave my pipe cleaners in there until the end. I think I'm going to end up taking them all out, to be honest, but we'll try. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look at one more. Okay, and so I'm like really pinching that tight, you know, gathering that mesh into. And this mesh is also really thick. It's a very thick quality mesh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a tip clip. Same thing on the opposite side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pull. This way it gives you the look of curls with ruffles. So I'm going to make sure that I've, you know, added enough twists on this one so that I'm going to kind of twist this one a little bit sideways. Open that up. Let's twist you a little bit sideways and open that ruffle up a little bit more. There we go. See, now normally I wouldn't have to fuss with my mesh so much. Oop, I almost rolled it into a ruffle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll roll that one an extra. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. So again, squish, pinch it down, you know, as tight as you possibly can here, so that when it goes into the pipe cleaner here, you know, it's a lot closer to the frame. That way it still gives you ample space in your pipe cleaner for these. Hi Cheryl, how are you? Cheryl says, do you know if Amazon sells this mesh? I don't know. But are you like curious, Cheryl, just because of Canada? Because I don't think you guys have this, and I'm thinking, does Hobby Lobby not ship to Canada? Because if so, they're leaving a lot on the table. So smashing them down. so I can get them a little closer to my frame. There we go. And like I said, you don't have to be super perfect on your curls or down here at the end. I want to see visible curls, which is why I'm doing it that way. I want them a little bit taller because I know even over time they're going to kind of fan out on their own. So I'm preparing these for taking them off. And you, like I said, you can fan them out. You can open your curls a little bit wider. This is going in our center, and then we'll have that one that overlaps. So 1, 2, 3. And this particular mesh, I actually had a section of it that looks like it had frayed or pulled. So I had to cut that out of the mesh section so that I could use it in this design. And it's up to you. You can turn your cruffles sideways. You know, you can do whatever you want in order to get the kind of coverage you'd like. Like you can turn this one completely sideways if you'd like. I usually just slightly turn them, but not a whole lot. Process takes a little bit longer. We'll grab this one. Sometimes it wants to gather more than I want in there at a time, so got to back it up a bit. Okay. We don't have a craft outlet in Canada. I may try Michael's, but this mesh, Cheryl, is from Hobby Lobby. You might have missed that at the beginning. Working from home, Vivian, so sneaking this in today. I really get to see lives other than the replays. Well, glad to join us. I love Thursday mornings, and this is perfect because it's still cool in my shop. We have a heat wave coming, so I am not looking forward to next week. I'm hoping that'll all just dissipate and go away, and it will just never manifest itself as really hot weather. I'm praying. So see how I'm just turning them? Sometimes I just overlap and intersect the curls. As we're starting to get fuller, it's pushing them towards the opposite end. So I'm trying to make the scrunches in between fairly small. And then again, I'm mashing this down as tight as I can. I love black and tan for Halloween. I don't know why that suddenly manifested itself. I think I had a sign that was done in black and tan, and I loved it. So I always do a Halloween design in black and tan. So the goal is trying to find not so much the materials, although the materials have started to come out in black and tan, which makes it super nice, like the ribbons. Three more pieces and then we can start to really work on our wreath. So this is the base you're seeing. Hi Peggy from Florida. Just trying to scrunch all that together. Here's our last center. And then we have two of our outside pieces. So it's good to have a good foundation. Because that'll set the tone for your whole design. I like people to try to figure out, what did she do? What did she do? Ruffles? Did she do curls? Did she do the cruffles? Like we did in this one. And then we're going to squeeze that last one in. There we go. See? You just kind of figure out, okay, let's pull something from the middle or pull something from the side and just fill the hole. But now we'll be adding our ribbons after this last piece. So lots of different ways you can decorate this one. You could use, there is a jute flex tubing in tan and brown or black. So you can incorporate that if you'd like. You can use raffia to keep it very country, farmhouse, I guess, rustic, Halloween looking. Okay, here's our last one. Squeezing that one in nice and tight. Open that up and we are good. So that is what our base looks like. On this one, right now, the base just from edge of mesh to edge of mesh is 24 inches. Now we're going to come in and we're going to add in our tails and half bows. So these are the options I picked. So we're doing a black and tan gingham, 19 inches for the 1.5 inches. We're adding, this is new this year. So these are the pumpkins. Here's the gingham playing to that. 14-inch pieces for the 2.5. And then we're doing a black and tan wide stripe paired with the spider web. So keeping that Halloween theme, but not, it's like subtle, but not like right in your face. So these are the pairs. 2.5-inch ribbons cut to 14-inch pieces. The 1.5 inches will all be cut to 19 inches. So we're going to take and we're going to put the pumpkins on the beige. So we're going to fold it in half to find our true center. We're going to gather there. We're going to open this up and place our pumpkins inside. We're going to pop them on the underside and fan them out. Then I'm taking my dovetailed edges of my 1.5 inch gingham, pinching together about 2 inches from the top, literally 2 inches. We're going to place that right on the inside. And you're going to right side one. It's usually always the left side for me. One side of my ribbon, and I like to pair those so that they both can be seen from that. And I'm going to leave my pipe cleaners because I'm just not sure yet what I want to do. I might want to add just a touch of raffia to it if I want to keep it that way. or I might just cut them all off and be like, we're done. So spider webs, you can come in and add, you know, some spider web material that they have at like the Dollar Tree, or you can just keep it clean and classic. So open, we're going to fan this one out, flip it over, just like so. So you can see the spiders, and here you can see the pumpkins. And we'll keep going around until we're done. What other types of embellishments would you use on this? You could use, ooh, now that I think about it, I got some embellishments that came in that are new, but I think they're slightly too big for this. I have some tan colored pumpkins, but in all honesty, any of those plastic pumpkins that you guys are finding wherever, you can, if you need to, paint them whatever color you want to go with whatever design you'd like. Okay, I'm going to take this one. I'm going to pull that back just a touch. I think I'm going to pull off the spider ones. I think if I'm going to add the raffia, it's probably going to go on the pumpkins. Let me get this one underneath. So many ideas. I don't know. I'm still like debating. But I'm always like finishing them up, so then that way if I have to come back and just remove them, it's just like snip, snip, snip all the way through. So that would go really fast. And I'm going to lead with the pumpkins on this one. So I want to make sure my pumpkins are the visible portion, because I like that print a little bit better. And where'd all the ribbon come from? So the gingham ribbon is from Crinkle Designs, and that's Crinkle with a K. The pumpkins and the spiders are from Craft Outlet, so they are new this year. I'm not sure if they still have any available, but that's where I ordered them from. The black and tan, the wide stripe, is also from Craft Outlet. So honestly, that's where I generally try to purchase most of my stuff, that or Crinkle Designs, because they're super fast shipping. And I don't know if you're like me, sometimes I forget what I bought. So it's always a nice surprise when those come back through. And then the other two ribbons we'll be using in the bow are from Joann's back in 2018. So you'll see those in when we get ready to put our bow together. Let's see. Hi, Maddie. Vivian, this is actually a burlap Jeep mesh from Hobby Lobby. Cheryl says it's very hot and we just had a rainstorm. Ugh. So that's probably going to make things worse, like hot and humid. Mary Carol, these pieces are cut to 25 inches. So these are a cruffle method, so you need them a little bit longer so that you can get the curl effect with the ruffle effect. And this would require 2 rolls of Deco mesh for this, because you would not have enough in just a single roll. Hi Joyce, welcome. Karen, the mesh is from Hobby Lobby. It's not in their seasonal section though, it's in their everyday section. Cheryl says, I like the raffia idea. Yeah, I do too. But I just haven't decided if I want it to be like a classic or a more rustic. So that's why I'm like, do I want to add the raffia? I know it seems like the right idea, but we can always change our mind. Okay, so I'm always trying to make sure my ribbon from the center is popped outward so that it lays up and over the top instead of concave like that's how it is when you put it in there. Like it wants to be like a concave, like this. It looks like a little bowl, but you want to pop that and make it go the opposite direction. That way it curves down around your mesh like that instead of the bowl method like that. So I usually do that when I get that into the pipe cleaner. Then I'll pop them out. Oops. And I don't have this one up on the website just yet. I was dealing with territorial deer, and they always pick on this one little buck, and so I go outside like his human mom, and I make them all leave so he can eat in peace and then go where he needs to be for the day. And if you guys didn't know it, hi Kay, she said first time catching you live in a long time. Welcome. So if you guys don't know, I do have a farm page on Facebook. It's called Applewood Farms, WA for Washington, which is all things deer, all things homesteading. Right now I'm really into canning. And I just found out one of my apple trees was ready to harvest, and I didn't miss it. I was just like curious why there were so many apples all over the ground. It turns out we have a grafted apple tree in our orchard that yields yellow transparent, is exactly what the apple is called, which you will never find in the grocery store, and it is the best apple I've ever had. Although if you Google it, Google says it's a very tart apple, and it's completely not true of this. And maybe that's why they grafted it together, was to get some sweetness out of it. And I think it's the only transparent yellow we have. But I wish I could tell you how good they taste or how amazing they smell. But that's what I'll be doing all weekend. We're making applesauce and spiced apples, spiced cinnamon apples. We'll can those so that we have them when apple season is over. And we have 31 trees in our orchard besides blueberries and blackberries and raspberries. So it's still blackberry season here. So we were in the process of making blackberry pie filling when I found all the apples on the ground, and I was like, I wonder what the heck happened here. So if you'd like to follow me over there, it is Applewood Farms WA. Love to have you guys follow me. So you see adventures with our chickens, what's going on in the orchard. So I have a lot of people who like that side of things. Plus what all the wildlife here is. So we are in a very small, rural forest community. But Ashley is part park, part farm, and part forest. So God blessed us big time finding this place, because it literally was a little bit of everything. Plus, I came with a almost 900 square foot shop that is my studio. Oh, Nancy says make some strudels and freeze. You know, I'm starting to look into deep, what do they call it? Like, it's not freezing. Is it freeze dried? I'm looking at freeze drying some of my produce. Because then if you freeze dry it, your shelf life is like 25 years. I miss making applesauce and apple butter. Great memories. Oh, Linda, that sounds amazing. So again, I'm going to go around right now and put and make sure that my pumpkin ribbon is featured predominantly all the way around. Because sometimes as we're fluffing, like I don't necessarily always bring that up to the top. But that is our base. So, and then once again, here's our sign. So this was a sign I received, see, and I love it. Look at that look. That black and tan is just so classic. It just looks really, really nice. So I'm like, man, it almost doesn't even have room for a bow, even though this sign is a 9x11. So we are going to put a bow. The bow's going to be in here. So it's going to kind of get pushed down and over. And then our bow will kind of be up in here. But I think I'm going to leave no raffia on there. So let me go around and remove that. So when I say remove it, I'm just taking off my pipe cleaners. I'm just tucking them around the back so you don't see those. Those don't become something that's present. So really quickly, because I had twisted them all, I just need to put the little stubs in the back. And then as you saw, once I added the sign to that, there's not an awful lot of room. Right, Linda? She said it makes the sign pop, and that is what I intended. Like, I looked at it on black, and I was like, oh, that really looks nice on black. And I always knew that it's going to be the black and tan for this year. And then I remembered I had this mesh. And it's just like, okay, meant to be. Grab this one. I almost missed this. So this is when you're a new wreath maker starting out, I always advise you don't snip off your pipe cleaners until the very end. That way, if you wanted to come in and add raffia or even add the jute burlap flex tubing, you could have added that down here to the bottom. So I'm just flipping those around to the back. Just a couple more. Because lately I've wanted to come in and add additional ribbon in and around the signs, and I'm like, oh, and I always cut those off. Okay, now I'm going to remove the ones in the center. And I'm just going to tuck those down into our mesh. So this is where sometimes it can be a little hard to find them. So we've got a lot of volume that's going to help hold up our sign. Okay. There has to be black I was going to say. And sometimes, I don't know how many I've cut off already, so sometimes I'll just take all my pipe cleaners and set them here to make sure I didn't miss any. There we go. And I think there's one more right here. Okay, those are all set. Let's go ahead and make our bow. Can't wait to show you these ribbon. Let's see. We're going to use our bow. We are going to put the spider webs down and then our pumpkins. And then we have our black and tan. I had just a touch of it left, so new roll here. That one. We have our gingham. We are going to utilize this black and tan, which is from, like I said, Joann's, all the way back in 2018. So we're going to utilize that. We are also going to utilize this crow with little crescent moon. That's going to be our star of our ribbon. Again, Joann's 2018. They had so little of it, and I never thought, I'm like, well, maybe people won't like black and tan. It never dawned on me to get more. So, let's see. I'm just mixing and matching these. Trying to figure out which patterns I like. I think I like the way that presents. So that's going to be my ribbons for our bow. So we're going to do a dovetail edge to begin. So just bring your wired edges together. This is the destination point. The edge of our bow right here, or the edge of our ribbon. And so you're going to cut from the folded side down to that wired point so that you'll get a nice dovetail. And depending upon how deep you are, there's some people who barely put any in. There's some people who go deep. I'm kind of like the deep person. I like them to really see that depth in there. So we are going 10 inches. And then we're going to gather in. We have our right side of our fabric here. I'm going to twist this at that point and then slide it into the bow. Then I'm going to bring my loops up and over. I'm going to guesstimate right now 5.5 inches. So I'm going to take the line right here on my bow, lining it up on the 10. So when I take this and stretch this out, we're like at 5 3/4. Right there is 5.5. Do the same on the other side. Just like so. Measure this out. We're at 6. So we're bringing that way in. And then back out 10 inches. And dovetail your end again. Just like so. So remember the spider ribbon, craft outlet, the pumpkin ribbon, craft outlet. The gingham ribbon is from Kringle Designs. So it's Kringle with a K, designs.us. The wide black and tan stripe is craft outlet, and then the other two are Joann's. And those are, I think, pretty much discontinued. So we're going in 9.5 inches. We're twisting. And this time our loop length on this one is only going to be 5 inches. So I'm very precise when it comes to my bow making because I know where I want my bow to yield. Like, I know how big the bow will be if I follow the instructions that I'm giving you guys, which means that from the loops on the large end, so the spider ribbon, so spider ribbon to spider ribbon will yield an 11-inch bow. And then this is 9.5. Dovetail the end. And then that one is down. Cheryl says, how about a small white skeleton? Yeah, you could definitely put one in here. I'm not, just because I want it to be a very subtle. And then Dora says, how do you hide the pipe cleaners on your half bow? Mine are always visible. So I'm always tucking them, the little nub, the little end piece that you have, I'm tucking it around the back of the loop. And then I fluff my loop forward a little bit, like really open it up and then fan those tails out so that it's a little harder to see. I wouldn't say it's like you, if you look for it, I think you could find it. Hi, Marie from Victoria, Texas. Right. Vivian says, my vote is classic. I love vintage Halloween. Yes, I agree. So this is definitely one of those. I have galas, but they seem to be rotting on the bottom before I can get to them. I got a few, enough to make apple butter, I hope. Yeah, I've been reading that you can actually pull your apples off the tree and let them, because they still produce those ethylene gases for a few days, so they can ripen off the vine. So this one is a 9-inch tail with a 4.5-inch loop for our gingham. Place that one here. And then 9 inches out. Dovetail. Oh, Nancy said apple chips. Okay, now that sounds really good. I think that would have to go in a dehydrator though. And I want to look into getting a freeze dryer so that you can, you know, it's basically like making MREs out of your food. You just add water if you went camping or whatever in order to reconstitute those back into what they are. But it's really good for herbs, to freeze dry your herbs instead of dehydrating them. Hi Anna, welcome. Finally able to make another live. Life has been trying and now canning season is upon us. Tomatoes, peppers, apples, eggplants. Wow, so you've got a full agenda. We're gonna have to try again with some of our produce. Our peppers, we had one that just generated one pepper, and then obviously I love tomatoes so much. I need to make sure that we have more tomatoes going so that we can, you know, if you wanted tomatoes for whatever or canning, you have enough, not just enough. So these ones were exactly the same loop size. These are 4.5 inch, so exactly the same as what our gingham was. So I did a little cheat as I was pulling these out. I made sure they were both the same. So that one is done. And then let's get that and that are finished. Just try to move them from one end to the other. Always like to take off that folded end. No matter what you do, I guess you could iron it. And then you would have a smooth ribbon. This one's going to be 8 inches with 4-inch loops. So 8 inch is the tail length, 4 inch is the loop length. So I just guess, and then I come back in and measure, and if I'm right on the money, then we're good. Or I can just pull and adjust them. Right there. Back out to 8. And the only sad thing about this ribbon, even though it's so nice, it's only 12 feet. So if I wanted to use it, you know, to make half bows, I wouldn't have enough. So it's just enough to make you want more. And then the last one is our crows. The crow with a crescent moon. I wish that Joann's would come back with these because I love them. So 7.5 inches for a tail, and it's just going to be a 3.5 inch bow. Just enough to add a pop with our pumpkins, with our spiders, and a little bit more. Up and over. Bring it in and then back out. Right at our moon. Yeah, this one came up under Maker's Decor. So they did a Maker's Decor in 2018. The ribbon was just all this way. They had black cats. It was just such a classic look. And I think we're going to go beige on this one for a pipe cleaner. So it's always easy just to have that prepped and ready to go. You're just going to take this and drop that right down. You're going to hold it, twist it just right at the bottom, and then twist the rest of your stack. Just like that. Now we need the fluff board. Which is just a 24 by 24 by 1 inch piece of pre-cut lumber with a 1.5 to 2 inch C hook in the center. So we're just going to loop that right through my pipe cleaner. It just prevents the ribbon from sliding off the board. So this is top, this is bottom, and then we're always going to start from the bottom. You're going to pull your tail one direction, in this case the left. The loop is going to the right. Take the pipe cleaner, move it over. Then we're going to go to the bottom half, find the same ribbon. We're going to go opposite. So our tail is going to the right, our loop is going to the left, to where if we pick this up, you have them exactly opposite of each other from the top and the bottom. Then each ribbon you pull down, you're going to just alternate. So we're doing pumpkins here on the bottom. Here's that. We're doing our pumpkins. And then here we go. So this way it's alternating loops from tails with each ribbon that I bring down. I'm just following the pattern, going opposite. Now I'm following the pumpkins, left and right, right and left, left and right, right and left, left and right. So we can fix all of our, you know, if we have something that's kind of pinched, you can right side that. But basically what you have is you now know where all your tails are. You now know where all your loops are. And this is totally and completely flat. There's no elevated ribbon yet. So now when we fluff, we're going to grab the top two. We're going to lift and you're going to run your fingers through to round those loops out. So here's this one and this one. And you can just, as you're pulling, you know, each set up, decide where you want them to go. You know, do you want the gingham in the middle? I like the stripe. So now we're giving it life. Now it's becoming three-dimensional. Okay. And then we're doing the same with the bottoms. And we really want to see all the different kinds that are in there. So here's this one. So my spider's kind of popping up between these two. The pumpkin's popping up between the other two. And then we want to put a curl on our ribbon, so this way they follow the flow of how our wreath is. You know, it kind of curves downward. So I'm just running it between my fingers. It'll be a little harder to see with the outside piece. And then just fluff it to your liking, whatever you like. Like, you know, where do you want certain ribbon patterns to be? So there is your bow, just like that. Super simple. Okay. For our design. So I'm going to take it off the same way I put it on, but opposite. We are going to bring this over, and I'm going to grab my staple gun for our sign, and I need 2 pipe cleaners, so I'm going to go with the beige. Let's move this stuff over. Chain clip we're done with. We are going to prep our sign, which is, I'm going to flip this over. And the first thing I want to do, and I didn't do it on here because I didn't turn my glue gun on, but I will, is we're going to remove the stickers off the back. Now this is a really old sign because, like I said, I got it from, this is 2016. And it says it came from Kmart, when Kmarts were a thing. So now this makes it a really discontinued sign. And I want to pull those off. Well, we got the majority of it off. Which is where our business card will go. So we can get the other one off. This one looks like it'll be a little easier. Of course, I say that and then it just peels. So can we get this off? And yes, I know if you take your heat gun or a blow dryer to it, it makes it so much easier to take off. There we go. So this little scraper tool, lifesaver if you ever can, like you have all those stickers on the back, you can't get them off. You get 2 of them. It comes with quite a few replacement blades, which are just the little razor blades. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to tuck this in the back. So I'm going to staple this down first, just once, right in the center. Of course, that one didn't go in. There we go. Just in case they want to take it off the wreath and use it, it's entirely up to them. I'm going to do top and bottom. So 2 staples. There's 1. There's 2. These are 1/4 inch staples because my sign is a 1/4 inch thick. There we go. Right to the center. I always do a little twist so they don't, like that one just came through because we stapled it to the ribbon. I wonder if there's a knot in the wood right there. I'm out of staples, which is interesting because I've been playing with a staple that has been here for a bit. It just keeps moving itself around on my table like these. So I'm going to load those right on the inside. Okay. There we go. Finesse it in. Okay. We are good to go. All right. I'm going to grab one of my business cards. I'm going to go ahead and pull that off. Place the business card on the back. Just so the client knows where they made their purchase from. For those of you that are worried about your staple, if you wanted to, because I've had some people say, well, what about if they kind of slip off? Well, I haven't had them happen yet, but if you want, you can put a dot of glue on each of your staples at the front of each of your staples where they go into the wood, and you're good to go. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and attach my sign. We're going to need it to kind of come down to the bottom a bit. So I have one of my pipe cleaners here. I'm just going to take advantage of that because, hey, that's already where I know my frame is. So I'll put one on one side, the other on the other. And I'm going to pull my little cruffles out of the way so that we can get it down to the frame a little bit more. We'll come out and still fluff all these. So like I said, the ones that are to the outside I'm moving, but the inside ones are staying. So that we have like those little ruffle all the way through. So right up here, we should have I'm going to go ahead and yield it slightly off to the right because I like my bows to be up towards the left. I don't know why I started doing this lately, but I have been moving my pipe cleaners in this weird way that when I go to thread them in, I have them on opposite sides. I'm like, when did I start doing that? I don't like it. So, just like so. And then up here in the corner, this is where our bow's going to go. So I need to take these two loops and we're going to tuck them right underneath so that I don't have them like pushing my loops up. So this is why with the cruffle, you can just kind of move things away. Let's find our pipe cleaner on our bow. This is why also it's nice to know where your loops are so that you can frame certain aspects of your wreath. Like I can get it up and around here to frame my sign, like knowing I want it to be right there. That's where I'm going to go ahead and place it. So I've got to work it through the mesh first, and then I'm going to push down with my finger, and then I'll go ahead and fix all my loops where they need to go. So if your cruffles aren't behaving, move them where you want them to be. Like if this one's in the way, just take it and pull it down towards the front, because I need to see the witches part. So we'll fluff, and then I'll come down here and move things so it's in the order I want. I like it like this. I'll switch these too. So that's what we're looking at. So now I'm just fluffing the bows on the outside, so they lay where I want them to. And that's it in a nutshell. Just fix any of your outside loops. You can readjust your curls if you want to see some more. Just pull more of them out and move them around, whatever your desired look is. I'm always making sure my pumpkins are present, but there we go. This is our classic black and tan look for Halloween. So this is my vintage Halloween one for this year. So I'm going to go ahead and pivot you up so we can hang this on the door. Oops. Hello. Okay. So I'm going to take this one off. We're going to put it on a black door because I think it's going to make quite the statement. It's actually very thick and heavy, which is nice because when you pick it up, it feels like there's some weight in there. Let me get that back on my design. So make sure all of your ribbons look amazing. Make sure nothing is curled, pinched. If you're using glue, make sure all your glue threads are gone. And then just get everything to where it just looks its best. Just like so. I think we're straight. There we go. I will zoom in for you guys so you can see what that looks like. There we go. I think that works. I'm always like, where do I need to be? So you don't see that. So that is our design. I will get this posted so that if you're interested in purchasing it, you can do so. Like I said, a lot of that ribbon on that wreath, what makes it so nice is that it's discontinued ribbon, which means that unless someone finds like a couple rolls of it, it's an exclusive item, which is kind of what I do when I'm doing all of my design creations. Is sometimes I hold back certain ribbon designs for a couple years to where they will discontinue, and then you're creating a true one-of-a-kind vintage wreath for whatever holiday we're building. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you guys liked the design. If you're interested in joining my private group, I do have a private group available. It's at the website that's pinned below. Also, if you want free tutorials, bow recipes, and a bunch of other free stuff, Also visit the website. You can sign up for my email list, and then that way, if you ever forget or miss a tutorial, those get updated for you automatically. So hope you guys have an amazing weekend, and I'll talk to you soon. Keep designing.